Don't worry, guys. We know where you're coming from. Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most relatable Disney villains.
The Emperor needs his drink.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at 10 Disney and Pixar villains who we commiserate with, either because of their personality, background, or motivation. Now, we aren't saying that these characters are good people. Far from it. We're just stating that we understand where they're coming from and what they may be feeling.
But I was so sure that I hurt them.
I'm so sorry, madam.
Number 10. Captain Hook, Peter Pan.
You will go ashore, pick up Tinkerbell, and bring her to me.
Captain Hook hates Peter Pan because Peter chopped off his hand and fed it to a crocodile. We've gotta say his hatred for the kid is pretty justifiable.
Good form, Mr. Smee. That's good form! Did Pan show good form when he did this to me?
You'd be pretty pissed if someone cut off your hand and fed it to a crocodile too. On top of that, said crocodile now has a taste for Hook and is constantly trying to eat him, lending further understanding to Hook's irritability and hatred of Peter.
I'll get you for this, Pan, if it's the last thing I do!
I say, Captain, do you hear something?
No.
The Disney film tries to make us side with Peter on this, but we're actually not sure where our allegiances lie. Losing your hand and constantly being pursued by a bloodthirsty crocodile has got to suck.
Thank you, me dear. You've been most helpful.
Number 9. Cruella de Vil, 101 Dalmatians.
Anita, darling, how are you? Miserable, darling, as usual, perfectly wretched.
Of course, we don't condone skinning puppies for fur coats, but come on, who doesn't want to exemplify the height of fashion?
My only true love, darling, I live for furs. I worship furs.
Cruella de Vil is often considered to be one of the nastiest Disney villains, and for good reason. She wants to kidnap and kill puppies simply to wear their exceptionally rare fur.
I want the job done tonight.
Are we gonna do it?
Any way you like, poison them, drown them, bash them in the head.
You got any chloroform?
And while that is certainly deplorable, we can definitely understand wanting to look good. Honestly though, where we really feel like Cruella's a kindred spirit is in her driving habits. Come on, you tell us you haven't looked a bit like her tearing through the snowy hills when you're late to work. Number 8. Jafar, Aladdin.
Patience, Iago, patience. Kazim was obviously less than worthy.
Jafar certainly has a lot of relatable characteristics.
What are you waiting for? Go on!
For one thing, he works for a supremely childish, incompetent, and annoying boss.
I don't trust him, sire.
Nonsense. One thing I pride myself on, Jafar, I'm an excellent judge of character.
Oh, excellent judge, yeah, sure. Not.
Who among us hasn't had at least one terrible boss throughout their lives? He also seeks out the genie's lamp so he can become Sultan himself, which shows ambition. We can certainly respect that. But best of all, he asks to become a powerful sorcerer and is granted magical abilities.
Genie, my second wish. I wish to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world!
Admit it, if you were granted a wish, one of the first things to pop into your head would be the wish for magical powers. Sure, he may use those powers for evil, but he's gotta let off steam somehow.
Whose lies were too good to last. Say hello to your precious Prince Ali!
Number 7. Scar, the Lion King.
You are such a naughty boy.
Come on, Uncle Scar.
No. This is just for you and your daddy.
Like Jafar, Scar is a highly ambitious person, or, well, lion. He desperately wants to be king, but his brother Mufasa ruined his chances by having a son, Simba.
Well, I was first in line, until the little hairball was born.
That hairball is my son, and your future king.
Oh, I shall practice my curtsy.
He had his life's goal ripped out from under him. and he's constantly overshadowed by his more respectable older brother. His jealousy is honestly pretty relatable if you've ever had a sibling who outshined you.
Oh, Scar, it's just you.
Oh, you were afraid it was somebody important.
Yeah, you don't like Mufasa.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, maybe throwing Mufasa to his death and driving Simba from the kingdom wasn't the best way to go about solving his problems, but we get where he's coming from.
Good. Now get out.
Number 6. Mother Gothel, Tangled.
How you manage to do that every single day without fail. It looks absolutely exhausting, darling.
Oh, it's nothing.
Then I don't know why it takes so long.
We can all agree that aging sucks. The stellar health and dashing good looks of our 20s will eventually wither away, and we will become old and wrinkly.
Stop no more, you'll just upset me.
Not saying that old people can't be beautiful or fit, but come on, who doesn't want to stay young forever?
Rapunzel, look in that mirror. You know what I see? I see a strong, confident, beautiful young lady. Oh, look, you're here too.
Mother Gothel hoards a magical golden flower so she can stay young and beautiful, and she later keeps Rapunzel imprisoned in the tower so she can take advantage of the powers of her hair. Without these magical effects, Gothel is actually an extremely old woman. We certainly don't agree with her methods, but there's no denying that staying young is an intriguing prospect for many.
Oh, come on!
Enough of the lights, Rapunzel! You are not leaving this tower! Ever!
Number 5. Edgar Balthazar, The Aristocats.
Oh, and Edgar. I'm expecting my attorney, Georges Aucourt. You remember him, of course.
Of course, madam. How could anyone forget him?
Edgar is easily one of the nicest and most harmless of all the Disney villains. He remains loyal to his boss, millionaire Madame Bonfamille, but grows discouraged when he learns that her will gives precedence to her cats.
Yes, George. I simply wish to have the cats inherit first. Then, at the end of their lifespan, my entire estate will revert to Edgar.
Cats inherit first, and I come after the cats.
Yeah, we'd be pretty pissed if we were passed over in a will for some frickin' cats as well. Not only is his motivation quite sound, but he never really does anything too deplorable.
Rock-a-bye kitties, bye-bye you go. La 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 la, and I'm in the dough. Oh, Edgar, you sly old fox.
Sure, he drops the cats off in the country and tries to have them shipped to Timbuktu, but he could have easily killed them.
You're going to Timbuktu if it's the last thing I do.
Be honest, you'd maybe consider driving a cat out of the country as well, if it meant getting a sweet inheritance.
In your own private compartment. All the way to Timbuktu.
Number 4. Yzma, the Emperor's New Groove.
That's it, Grant. That's it. I'll get rid of Cusco.
The real Cusco?
Of course, the real Cusco.
We'd be grumpy if we had to work for Cusco too. Yzma raises Cusco herself, rather than his actual parents, and is shown to be a rather reliable chemist and advisor.
Yeah, you think he would have turned out better.
Yeah, go figure.
Then one day the inept and childish Cusco abruptly fires her for running the kingdom behind his back.
Oh, and by the way, you're fired.
It's then that her murderous plot comes into being. But really, wouldn't you be upset too? Yzma showed devotion and loyalty for many years, only for him to thoughtlessly fire her. We don't blame Yzma for getting a little mad and wanting him out of the picture. He's a pretty terrible leader anyway.
But, Yzma, do you really want to kill me?
Just think of it as you're being let go, that your life's going in a different direction, that your body's part of a permanent outplacement.
Hey, that's kind of like what he said to you when you got fired.
Number 3. Syndrome, The Incredibles.
And it's not incredible either. That ship has sailed. All I wanted was to help you. I only wanted to help.
Sure, Syndrome is an egotistical sociopath, but he had a pretty good idea. Syndrome simply wants to be a respected hero, and one day wishes to make everyone super so that the concept becomes redundant.
And when I'm old and I've had my fun, I'll sell my inventions so that everyone can be superheroes. Everyone can be super. And when everyone's super, no one will be.
We have have to admit we like the sound of a world where everyone has high-tech gadgets that basically give them superpowers. And let's not forget that Syndrome actually wanted to do good, until he was heartlessly dismissed by Mr. Incredible as a child.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Oui, et ta tenue est complètement ridicule!
Just give me one chance.
Children are very susceptible to their treatment at the hands of adults, especially the ones they admire. We don't blame him for holding a grudge against superheroes when one so callously rejected his dreams and ambitions.
But I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone, especially your heroes.
Number 2. Hades, Hercules.
Let's get ready to rumble!
It's hard to make Hades, god of the underworld, relatable, but Disney managed to do it. We think James Woods' stellar performance may have had something to do with it. Hades is probably Disney's goofiest villain. He likes to make pop culture references, even if no one really finds them funny or understands them.
You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat. Huh? So is this an audience or a mosaic?
He also has a short temper, and can be set off over the slightest provocation. But really, who hasn't gotten irrationally mad over something insignificant?
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
To top it off, he shows an incredible amount of patience with pain and panic. We've all had friends like that, and you've just gotta learn to get used to it.
Well, the entire scheme I've been setting up for 18 years goes up in smoke, and you are wearing his merchandise!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
We have a sick patient here, nurse. Prepare the OR. Stat!
We're not safe till his head is mounted on my wall. I say we kill the beast!
And now look at me. Wasted away to practically nothing. Banished and exiled and practically starving. While he and his flimsy fish folks celebrate. Well, I'll give 'em something to celebrate soon enough.
Number 1. Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty.
16 years, and not a trace on her. She couldn't have vanished into thin air.
Maleficent represents pure, unfiltered hatred and evil, and she commits a deplorable act in cursing a baby.
Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
That said, she wasn't invited to the party, and damn if that doesn't smart.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
You weren't wanted.
Not what? Oh dear, what an awkward situation. I had hoped it was merely due to some oversight.
We understand why she wasn't invited. She is the embodiment of pure evil after all, but at the same time, perhaps they could have at least given her a half-hearted excuse as to why she couldn't come, or kept the party on the down low. While we obviously don't condone putting a curse on a child, we can understand Maleficent's frustration and jealousy. Being purposefully excluded from a get-together is a terrible feeling. We'd be pretty upset too.
You poor simple fools, thinking you could defeat me, the mistress of all evil.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Ms. Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.